Hello, and welcome to episode 54, where we'll be looking at the second tabletop from the Game & Watch series, called Mario's Cement Factory. The game, a miniature arcade, came housed in a brilliant bright red case and was first offered for sale April 28 back in 1983, selling a reported 250,000 units worldwide. Again, and somewhat similar to last week's game, Donkey Kong Jr., this week's game has the same larger instruction booklet. Mario's Cement Factory was given the production code of CM-72. First off, in the instructions there is a brief table of contents, then there is a photo-illustrated console that has all the major parts listed and their various operations explained. This is followed by both the time and alarm settings, and detailed explanation of how their functions work. The center 2 pages has an expanded flow diagram with screenshots to better facilitate the nuances of the actual gameplay that this version of Mario's Cement Factory offers. Effectively, this is the same gameplay as that we've seen previously with the new widescreen series of Game & Watches, where Mario has to contend with servicing 4 hoppers, spread out over 2 levels, with each capable of holding a maximum 3 loads of cement. This is coupled to having 2 trucks or cement mixers waiting at the bottom, and all this action is accessed by 2 continuously moving elevators or lifts situated in the center of the screen. And every hopper emptied from the top level gets a single point, the bottom level gives you 2. And all of this is powered by just 2C batteries that purportedly offers 3 years of continuous power. As we move to look at an example of the gameplay, you'll notice the very vibrant colors. This is achieved by reversing the way the LCD was utilized. In previous models in the Game & Watch series, the graphite gray or black sprites actually formed the moving characters. In Tabletop and Panorama series of games, the LCD works in reverse, by actually blocking out the light over the non-needed areas. This gives us the display scene here where the desired characters in play become fully visible and animated. Returning to the gameplay, we see that the game is Game Mode A, the easier of the 2 options. Also, we see the cement is continuously delivered either left or right at the top of the screen to 2 of the waiting hoppers on the upper level. Mario must activate the lever at each station once for every load to be moved on. Remember, those hoppers only hold 3 loads apiece. When Mario empties a load from the upper hoppers to the lower hoppers, he is then required to use the elevators or lifts in the middle to access the lower hoppers, which again, have a maximum capacity of 3 loads of cement. When Mario is too slow to access a station, and a hopper overfills, the concrete will overflow, and the resulting failure, in my opinion, is nicely animated, because the spill lands on the truck driver below, who is then shown angrily venting his displeasure. To score a miss, or as we'd say today, the player loses a life in this game, is quite straightforward. This occurs when Mario tries to get on an elevator or lift and misses, or also interestingly, it can occur when he rides the lift or elevator to the ceiling or down to the basement and fails to get off. This results in a somewhat graphic squishing of our hero, in what can only be described as a tragic workplace accident. When you have amassed 3 misses, shown by Mario's head appearing in the upper right side of the screen, the game ends. Sadly, Mario has lost 2 lives in quick succession, but I draw your attention to the top 2 hoppers. Did you notice after a life was lost, both upper hoppers automatically emptied? This is to give our hero a fighting chance. Well, with a rather lowly score of just 60 points, Mario has fallen once more. This is confirmed visually by the 3 heads of Mario being displayed in the upper right corner of the screen. The game is now over. To add a little detail to how the display works, here we see in the top left, labeled Quadrant 1, is an image of the light window. This allows external light to backlight our display. Quadrant 2 is the same light window, which is now removed from the case. You can just about see the mirror below. Quadrant 3 is the mirror removed. This is what your eyes actually watch during gameplay, from the reflected image shining down from above. The last quadrant, Quadrant 4, shows the brightly colored foil that sits below the light window. What is not shown is the liquid crystal display and polarizers that sit directly below the colored foil background. To wrap this segment on screen technology up, I've shown here another game, from my collection, which is a Nintendo licensed Pac-Man handheld, panorama screen game, that better shows how the light window, with a color foil, and the LCD, together with the mirror, really operates together, bringing us the vibrant display we see in these tabletop games. Now let's just listen to the startup sound Mario's Cement Factory makes. Here it is. Does that remind you of any famous song? Try this. And Nintendo's Mario's Cement Factory startup jingle, one more time. I would say it sounds like it was inspired by that tune. more than being simply a direct copy of Queen's 1980 mega hit. But what's your thoughts? Inspired or a direct copy? Now before we wrap up today's episode, I want to look at the other versions and variants of today's star in focus, Mario Cement Factory. First off, we see the super cute and highly detailed keychain offering. This one was called the Mini Classic Series, and it's from 1998. Interestingly, it's also a fully functioning game. Then in June of 1983, Nintendo released the same game in the credit card sized, new widescreen version that you see here, which we've previously reviewed. It went on to get some more love with the Game Boy Gallery version in 1995, and then a little later in 2002, with the Game & Watch Gallery 4 for the Game Boy Advance, when it presented two variants, a classic based on today's gameplay, and a modern reworking of this theme, using Yoshi and a cookie factory, with this modern interpretation being the best version, in my opinion, of this game to date. The last known reissue of this game came in 2009, with the online service called DSiWare, which offered a classic version as an online download with this particular console. The original box art was ideally suited to show off the mini arcade game, with various gameplay sprites and images. Well, my friends, this really does wrap things up for our show today. As we watch the montage of images, I'd just like to add that I've enjoyed making today's episode. I also hope you found it both informative and entertaining. So with Donkey Kong Jr., and now Mario Cement Factory complete for the tabletop series, we have two more consoles to review. Next week we'll be looking at Snoopy, with its bright yellow cabinet, before we round out the series with the Green Machine, Popeye. So as a special request from me for today, I take quite a bit of time to research and make these shows, so I'd ask, ever so kindly, that you please take the second or two it takes to like our video here today. I'd also ask you to consider adding a subscription to our channel, and better still activating that alarm bell to ensure you don't miss any future content. I guess people might think we're purely Game & Watch, but we are focused on reporting and documenting everything Nintendo, so we'll one day move on to the Game Boy range, the home consoles, the DS series of handhelds and much more. Well, thank you for watching.